Did you know one single 100-foot bed of greens can out-earn an entire row of corn? Today, we're breaking down the most profitable crops you can grow, whether you sell at a farmer's market, run a CSA, which is community supported agriculture. We're going to get into that, supplying restaurants and chefs. If you want to know what actually makes money in a small farm or a no-till garden, you're in the right place. Team Replay, and those of you in the chat here with us live, if you had to pick just one to grow for profit, whether for farmers markets, a CSA, or a restaurant with chefs, what would it be and why? Maybe you already have an idea of a crop that you know would make money. Today's goal is cover what crops make money for what we mentioned. We're going to talk about sample bed plans for crop rotation. And then remind me at the end, everyone, to cover farm stands on your personal property. I ran out of banners, so I don't have it in there to remind me, but I have a page I can read. And maybe there's folks in the chat or in the replay that can share personal experiences as we go along. First, we're going to get into the farmer's market, retail margins. Variety sells the table, right? You kind of look with your eyes and you see, well, this looks like I should spend my money on that. Things to consider. There is a fee. Unfortunately, in most towns, even though the city owns the parking lot the farmers markets are in, they have to have a special insurance on the situation. And so that requires the vendors to have to pay a fee for the whole year. Now, every market has its own set of rules. Sometimes when you pay your fee, you're signed in for a minimum amount of weeks. You have to be there for X amount of weeks. Sometimes you can just pay as you show up. Like if you want to go whenever you feel like it, if the market's a Wednesday and a Saturday, maybe you want to go to one once a month, there's a separate fee for just setting up your table on that time, right? I'm trying to remember what ours is. I think it's anywhere from $25 to $60 for the year, but that might be completely wrong and off and low. I know that some farmers markets have rules as far as how many craft vendors they can have, and it has to be make it, grow it. I don't know if there's a third one. Like you can't buy something wholesale and then try and sell it at the farmer's market, right? The commitment to that, to prepping for the farmer's market to sell, to get there to set up, even on the bad days, whether you are having a bad day or the weather, uh, bargain shoppers are going to want to talk you out of your price you posted, usually. Now, if you are setting up a farmer's market in the touristy towns where it's kind of a huge market, everything's might be priced a little higher than a small rural town farmer's market, right? Tactics like stacking up your thing you're trying to sell, refreshing the tables. So if someone's buying something and there's a gap, filling the gap, whether that means restocking with coolers that you brought or condensing down to make it look good, essentially. Being available. I mean, actually being present and greeting people as they walk by and having conversations, but still keeping things moving. Being bubbly, I want to say, as the personality, right? You have to have packaging. You have to have good signage, tables, a cloth. Everyone has a canopy. You have to secure the canopy, right? And it takes time. All of that takes time. So if all of that sounds great still, we're going to talk about what could you sell that hopefully gets some money in your pocket. Salad mix and baby greens for spring, fall, and winter undercover. We do have a winter's farmers market around the region I'm in. It's not in my town directly. Arugula, brassica mix, spinach, fast turns, premium price, reliable weekly repeat buys. Now, things that are tricky in the summer with a bag of a salad mix is it gets foggy or like wilty or hot. And so there's little things that people talk about with like misting or spraying things, or just having one on display and having a bunch in a cooler. Maybe you have some tricks that you've seen or heard of around you. Shoulder season tunnel greens have excellent revenue, and we're going to break down some of the equations on how to figure out, well, what does this crop get me, right, on the farm? All the cherry and specialty tomatoes around a lot of places, they grow in tunnels to get things actually to maturity without, a bad crop. Because if you think about when you take something to market, it has to look good. They don't want our we know we can eat things that have a little spot here or whatever it is, right? A defect, but at the market, it's got to be pretty. Having a tunnel helps with that. So color medleys, snacking types, high demand, tunnel yields and disease reduction increase marketable fruit. But I have to say, do tomatoes really make you money? In the description, there's two links. One is a video to the no-till growers talking about what's actually profitable. And then he talks about in that show another show, and I have that linked separately too, and she goes into like the math. And let's see, I was going to talk about tomatoes quickly here. When we're talking about growing tomatoes in a tunnel, let me go on a tangent for just bear with me. The time it takes to start the seed to transplant the tomato, or now some people are grafting their tomatoes, okay? The money for the tunnel, the money for the trellis system, the clips that you use to single lead usually or double lead the tomato plant up the trellis in the tunnel, the pruning that is required when you grow that way is your time, okay? Do tomatoes really make you money? Well, to figure it out, the equation that was given to me in the videos that I described, so you can go in the description and watch them and write it down and see it, is total plants in the bed, how many square feet do you have, times the net price divided by total number of weeks it's in the ground, equals price per week that the crop is in the ground. So let's talk about heirloom tomatoes. Let's say there's 190 plants per bed. 3 feet by 190 feet is the bed. Average 25 pounds per plant. They are sold $4.50 a pound, and that equals $21,375. So you take that amount, 21,375, divided it by the square foot, 570, equals $37.50 per week, and this is saying for 25 weeks. But let's look at lettuce. 7 weeks of lettuce, $346 per week. $37 per week, $346 per week. And how much work do you do with lettuce? Yes, there's cutting and washing and packing, but you see the difference? The other way you can figure out is, what did everything cost for the whole year? So your seed, your compost, supplies, labor, let's say it's $50,000 for your farm. You want to have a take-home pay. Let's say you want to take home $50,000. That total is $100,000. Let's say you have 100 beds that you can grow in. Each bed needs to produce $1,000 out of it per year to pay that bill, right? So maybe there's stuff that's more profitable than tomatoes is the point of that rant, okay? Cucumbers. And then obviously tell me what sells well where you are, because I don't have the same climate as you, and you can probably grow things way different than me. So you have to share. Cucumbers can be grown in a tunnel or a field. Some varieties like baked alpha or minis or picklers sell by the bag. Cucumbers are actually pretty consistent and fast and family friendly. Here's the other thing. People know what to do with a cucumber, but maybe sometimes there's crops that we want to grow as home gardeners to experiment with, but it'll never sell because people are scared and don't know how to cook with it or how to use it or what it is even called. Now, you have to decide, do you want to spend time at the table at the farmer's market teaching? Because you can, have an education piece. Maybe it comes with a card, or you direct them to a video on a YouTube channel per se, like, double dipping, right? Things that I hear sell really well, and maybe you see this, is herb bundles. So basil, cilantro, dill, parsley, chives, they take up a tiny space, high dollar per square foot, and then bundle pricing. Edible flowers, microflowers, add on the bling, right? Nasturtiums, violas, calendula petals, great margin in a tiny clamshell, like for packaging. It's trendy and photogenic. Now, some people might not buy flowers for eating. Sometimes you can add it to a salad mix and call it something. I'm not creative with naming things, but you would call it something and it maybe would be priced differently. And then like a lot of farmers markets in the last, what, 5 years, what do we see? We see cut flower bouquets, right? Bouquets boost average ticket and stabilize cash flow. Common market garden plus flowers rotation is now budgeted and validated. You can go there and just sell flowers, right? So please tell me, if you had $20 to spend at the farmers market today, like let's say we're all going to go, we're going to the farmers market, I got my $20, what would you buy first? Now, it could be not listed here. Fresh greens, tomatoes, herbs, flowers, or something else. Here's mine. Honestly, $20 wouldn't last me at all because I want to buy the maple syrup, which is like $10. I want to buy honey, which is $10, $20, right? Like I just spent my budget. That's the stuff I want to buy. So I'm going to head into the chat before I move on to the CSA portion. And I'm going to say hi to everybody who is here for our live show, What to Grow for Profit. I know I saw Jay Dixon. It is good to see you. Thanks for helping out. I know I didn't send an email, but I made the live super early for the notification. Bowtie is here. You scraped a wallpaper off. Ooh, can't stay long. Okay, you get your rest. You come back in the replay. Dave Knight, hi everyone. Show and grow. We have Howie from Food Forest Permaculture. My Food Forest Journey. Hey, good to see you here. Okay, this is a great thing to point out, Howie. Garlic is $30 a pound. So if you can have a space, have something growing in it for, how long garlic takes. We plant ours Halloween, which is end of October, and then harvest in July. That's got garlic in it. Maybe you could sell garlic, right? Margins and market magic, just don't try to sell us NFTs of turnips again. We still haven't recovered from that fiasco. That was a conversation. Let me bring this up again. So basil, herbs, profitable. I've heard that many places. Lettuce and Napa cabbage was profitable. Radish is very profitable if you can sell it. There was this time where in the spring, the early spring, radish would sell, and then people would get sick of it, and then maybe end of summer, you could sell it again. And then turnips, as you mentioned, are not so much profitable. It's just harder to sell. Now, maybe you live in an area where turnips are on the table and it's a normal thing, right? Robin Garden says packaging labels important for sure. Catchy looking setup. My fave has the stacked wooden boxes that are arranged and little slates with item, name, and price. See, we look for cute, don't we? We're going to shop where it's cute. Not all of us, but most of us, right? You know what else I see with packaging is they'll have it in a display container, and then when you go to buy it, they're like, "Can I just dump it in a bag and keep the container?" Right? Howie says giant tomatoes, field grown, $7 a pound. Figs from Howie are $2 each. It's so fun to talk about pricing. I've wanted to do a video where I walk the farmers market and talk about like what the price of stuff is, but I can't do it for many reasons. um, my food forest journey. It's been a long time since I took a math class. Secret, I'm not a math person. I struggled with it my whole life, and I shall struggle with it forever, probably. Howie says once a week box delivery. That's a co op, does really well. That's a great lead into our community supported agriculture conversation, the CSAs. DCBs, good to see you. I'm working at providing a CSA with honey. Is that what you mean? I have seen where A farm that grows vegetables for their box that they sell to their members will partner with, let's say, a flower farm and say, hey, for X amount more on your membership, you also will get a bouquet with your box. So then you would go, and also you could get 3 pounds of honey or whatever with your box. Can a honey CSA survive on its own? I don't know. I didn't look that up. Anybody know? The things I see around here are people slinging honey out of their house, and you go and pick it up. Robin Garden says the curry squash is popular in the fall, sells out quick at $4 each. I see a lot of trailers filled with delicata, kabocha, acorn, butternut usually too, and those go, quick. Pest Hunter Outdoors, I forgot to say hi to you. I saw you earlier. Jay Dixon is sharing, I have been involved with each of these options as a managerial basis, except you pick and also add a roadside stand, which everyone needs to remind me when I get towards the end. If I feel like I'm going to close the show and I haven't talked about farm stands on your property, remind me, because I ran out of banners to remind myself, but I have a spiel. My Food Forest Journey says, I like to go to the Spanish markets and get a fruit or vegetable I've never had before. So we have two different, like, grocery, I'm going to call it a grocery store. One's an Asian, one's Mexican, and they definitely have weird things that I have no clue what they are and what to do with it. And I also thought about doing a live where I went and bought something, but I haven't done that. And that's super cool that you're reaching out of your, I mean, for me, that's not out of my comfort box of food, right? Dave Knight says a bushel of tomatoes is $30 to buy. I grew 4 bushel for canning. My savings, $120. There you go. My Food Forest Journey says that's a cool idea with flowers. We are going to talk about you pick later, and flowers is involved with that conversation. If that interests you, stick around. Robin Gardens says little squares of microgreens go for $5. It's an easy turnaround. We are going to get deep into microgreens more on the chef side of things, but personal experience. I saw microgreens at my farmer's market for one season and they've never been back. And I had side conversations with them like, easy? Is it easy? And they're like, well, you have to have a good setup. We don't want things getting moldy. There's this window of, okay, we've harvested it and washed it and packed it. And then there was this not understanding at the market, again, with the education. The type of community is a retirement community, rural. And so they were like, what's a microgreen? What do you mean you eat it? You know what I mean? It was hard to sell, actually. Where if you drove an hour to another town, they would have sold out in the first 30 minutes, you know? Oh, okay. My Food Forest Journey says I like to buy things that I haven't tried before. You are brave in the food world. Robin Garden says, OMG, at our farmer's market, you better have $75 budget. Exactly. Uh, it's, I mean, like I said, I would spend $20 at one table. Pest Hunter Outdoors reminds us, sorry, excuse me, radishes have a high turnaround. And the reason for that is because they're so quick. 45 days or less. You can grow the pretty colored Eastered ones. You can grow long icicle white ones. You can do French breakfast ones. But again, there is a point where you're reading your audience. No, your customer. They're sick of radish. If it's not leaving the table anymore, it's time to not be offering it. DCB says, yeah, I want to actually plant garlic at the right time of year. So I was speaking for my hardneck garlic in my zone 4B, 5A. So I'm wondering, I think we talked about when to plant. I don't remember if we talked about when to plant garlic on our garlic storing conversation the other day. Robin Garden says garlic goes for $2 to $4 per bulb, depending on rarity. DCBs has always been planting at the wrong time. Well, you must have a great journal of what not to do. Usually if it's at the wrong time, you back it up 2 weeks or move it forward 2 weeks and see how that goes. Howie also agrees that radish is a quick cash crop. Okra is doing well in zone 9B. DCBs. They grow a lot of kale. Robin says beans and corn are popular at the farmer's market. Yeah, the green beans sell pretty well. But then when you get into like, so green and yellow beans sell pretty well. And then the purple ones, people are like, purple? What? And then you tell them, well, it turns green when you cook it. And then some of them think that's exciting. And some of them are like, I'm not buying that, you know? Robin says there is a fruit vendor that drives in from Michigan to our farmers market, high prices, but high quality, and he gets his price. DCB says they do that partnering like you're mentioning. Bowtie must have 4 farmers markets. Okay, what does this say? I don't shop where it's cute. I shop where it's close. Actually, we have 3 farmers markets within 3 miles of us. My bee guy sells me honey at half price that he harvested from the box in my yard. 4 farmers markets if you count the seasonal one. That's a lot. Jay says CSAs like to add honey from other providers. There is a lot of home honey stands that I see, and then like 1, 2, well, I've seen now 3 people at the farmer's market, but that was last year. I haven't gone this year because of reasons. Howie says online group can meet in a local parking lot and do the exchange, trade, buy, sell, giveaway Sunday after church. It's a good time around noon. Honey at the farmer's market is $20 for 16 ounces, says Pest Hunter Outdoors. A bakery with honey partnered with it does sound perfect. And then reusing the other parts of what you get when you are a beekeeper, absolutely. Selling wax to people that want to make their own candles or salves, or actually selling the product made. Door to door, we have to have a permit to do that around here. Oh, perfect. Thank you, DCBs. Dave Knight, this time of year, too hot to grow lettuce, cheap in the store. I grow it in a greenhouse out of season. It tastes better when it's $6 a head in the winter. Yeah, knowing when to when a crop needs to just be pulled is kind of part of this too. Like you're saying, lettuce isn't going to grow well in the heat of summer. I can get it at the store or the farmer's market maybe for cheaper. And you have to know your market. That is one of the lessons that we're going to reiterate in this conversation. Storms, Radios, and Cats, welcome. And Jay is reminding us that what sells is highly variable. It depends on the location. Right. So I plant my hardneck garlic around a frost. Like we could even get a frost and I'll plant it then. And then quality, definitely DCB, says to Robin. DCB says 100% Shawnee. A lot of people buy wax. I watch a beekeeper that making beeswax is their main beekeeping crop. Really? Yeah, I see it in a lot of things that are homemade blends. And then like the wax wraps were really popular for a while. They might still be. So let's do some community supported agriculture, which I have participated in the past. It's predictable revenue for the grower, right? You pack it for versatility, low prep time for members, direct farm pickup is what I see, and they've offered delivery in a certain area. Um, the one that I know of has a website, so you need to factor in the price of running the website. But with the website piece of it, the consumer has control over frequency and can customize the box. Like on the website, the farmer will go, okay, here's what I could put in the box. Do you want to trade things? And then you get the upfront cash flow in the beginning of the season for the farmer. So let's say what CSA is: community supported agriculture. You get local, seasonal, sustainable vegetables all season. Price can be split between households. So, like, if you buy a full share, but you know you can't consume that box, you could say, okay, other household, we're going to split the cost of the full share Usually they put out the sign up in May. No, it'd be like March or April around here. And then you sign up and pay for the whole year. And they only have so many that they offer. The one I know that I speak of is they do half shares and full shares, and then they do have a winter share, which the price is $171 for 6 weeks. I didn't dig deep enough to remember what they were charging for a half share and a full share, because that's a much longer week membership, right? So what are things that make money in a CSA box? Does it all make money? Again, we heard about the tomato rant. I won't go into that again, but people want to see that in their box, okay? The cucumbers, peppers, carrots, green beans, broccoli, lettuce, these show up over and over in CSA preference requests, keeping prep easy and recognizable. Again, people want to cook with things they know, and maybe they'll experiment a little bit outside of their box. The website is also another place for community. People can share recipes of seasonal things. So, other members that might be learning on how to cook from the garden could go there. Have to have that herb rotation: basil, cilantro, dill, to keep the boxes exciting without weight. What's the one item you'd be most excited to find in your CSA box every week? What would I like in my box? I don't know. What would be useful in my box? Maybe some homemade bread every week. That'd be nice. So it offers, most people with CSAs, the farmers, offer a flexible choice table or swap bin. So research shows choice reduces dissatisfaction. Too much produce. That's too much work for me to do. They'll get their box, and if they don't have the option on the website, like maybe there isn't a website, when they go to the farm to pick up their box, there might be a place where you could take out something that you think is yucky, and then you could put something that you wanted more of in the box. Pickup options can look like one location on Thursday for, um, it was like a certain amount of time window. So it might have been a 2-hour window or a 3-hour window where they were allowed to be on the property of the location, and then you had to be out of there. And then a different location or the same on a Friday. Again, you can customize your share each week. Reschedule options if you need to skip a week. They offered like a vacation week where you don't have to get your box, right? The CSA that I know that's always looking for farm help, they have 90 varieties of produce that they rotate through in their boxes. Now, of course, the staples, right? Garlic, potatoes, carrots, onions, superfoods like beets and broccoli. And like I said earlier, partnering with local flower farms and beekeepers to add on to the bundle for an extra price. Reminder, if you're enjoying the stream, give it a like, hit the thumbs up. It helps more gardeners like you find all of us. I also have live streams on vertical gardens, storing vegetables for the hunger gap, and growing food in small spaces. We should see links to those in the description. Before I go into restaurants and chefs and what they might be looking for, we're going to hop back into the live chat and see what is being said. Now, again, this takes a bit to go back. There's the wax conversation. Robin Garden says every suburb has a farmer's market on different days. Wow, so you can shop all week? There's a huge farmer's market just over the border in Wisconsin. I get shop fatigue by the time I'm halfway through. There's a PT when it's too large. Mind your beeswax, says Jay. My Food Forest Journey says to Bowtie, I'm letting my neighbors pick my overflow of veggies. I just brought home a bucket of cucumbers and was like, here, neighbor and contractor and anybody, does anybody want a cucumber? DCB says it's great that farmers markets are becoming so popular. Without our farmers, growers, we starve. I love having the connection of, okay, where did they come from? Because a lot of people around here, they travel from far to sell at a farmer's market to get together with everybody. And so if you get to know where their farm is, they might be comfortable with you going to the farm, and you might be able to make a connection or pick up a larger amount. Like I wanted to buy a case of maple syrup one year. And so we had to arrange that because they couldn't just sell me a case of maple syrup at the farmer's market, right? My Food Forest Journey says, I CSI only in your area. Robin Garden says, the first time I did the CSA was so cool. It's where I learned about ground cherries. Oh, it taught you a new food. So the one that I did, we would pick up at a health food store, and that's actually closed now. And so that's not a thing anymore. And so I would have to drive to the farm to get a CSA box. And I did not sign up because I am able to grow still a garden and get the food. If I was in between homes or health and couldn't do it, I would dedicate the Friday drive to go pick up that box, right? Well, I'm glad we can share about CSAs, community supported agriculture. The Minnesota is the what I can speak about. There's a directory, like Minnesota directory, Minnesota Farmers Market directory. Um, Somewhere it'll have, is there a CSA near you? So if you're looking for one, type it into a search engine and see where you can find, because you might have one closer than you think. Pest Hunter makes pies with ground cherries. DCB says a gallon of honey would be cool. Here's the Jay Dixon coming in with the CSA. Community supported agriculture is a system where consumers buy a share of a farm's harvest at the beginning of the growing season. Yeah, I'm not sure what I would like to see in my box. I mean, I don't know. Bowtie is still here with us. Oh, Robin Gardens, I tried to grow pineapple ground cherries. It was the year we moved and they never really developed. I ate one that was almost ready. I haven't tried those seeds since. DCB says the hive increases your garden production by more than 30% on average and you get honey. Howie says, good night, Earthlings. Canning like a madman in the morning. Awesome live stream. Shawnee Grows. What are you canning? I wonder. I'll hear from you tomorrow, I'm sure, and we'll talk about it. Good night. You're already gone, I'm sure. My Food Forest Journey says, I think the flower idea for in the box would be pretty amazing. I would sign up for it. I want a bouquet every week. Are you kidding me? You know? 100-pound mark, says Bowtie, for the entire harvest. Oh, you're weighing. My goal for this year was to weigh my harvest. And have I done that? Nope. Nope. Got to work on that next year. I can see my weak points of why I'm not doing it. So if I set myself up for success, then we shall do it, right? Mother Earth Garden Club, hello, welcome to the conversation. So, for sure, research CSA near me in state, whatever state, I think you're in Florida. And there might be one close to you. I'm wondering if it's called a different thing. I don't know. Yeah, there you go. I would search. Oh, the grapes are coming in, are they? Look at that. Giving it away. This is a good reminder, Jay. We are having a show Wednesday and Thursday because we're here right now with it together on Tuesday. And we've talked about what we're going to talk about on the live stream yesterday to kind of have a sneak peek about it. So let's get into restaurants, chefs, consistency, and I don't know if I can say it, specificity. Weekly communication of what is harvest ready in the amount that you have and directly delivering it to what their preference is. What might we see chefs going for? Now it depends on what kind of restaurant is in your area, right? Microgreens, a pea radish sunflower blend, the baby herbs, year-round, tiny space, high value, sell by standing weekly order. So, like Robin said, quick turnaround. Edible flowers and herb blossoms are usually something restaurants are looking for. Strong plating demand, packed tight, 50 count viola, 2-ounce nasturtium petals. The fancy color mixes of cherry tomatoes, a specialty cucumber, the baby carrots, the petite brassica, or like a broccolini. Chef packs labeled by variety for menu language. If you were a chef placing an order, which specialty crop would you want delivered each week? So pretend again that you have a restaurant and you're creating the dishes. What is it that you would want from the local farmers? Microgreens, edible flowers, baby anything. You know how they always want to serve baby beets, baby potatoes, baby carrots, pearl onions. Maybe it's the colorful cherry tomatoes. The thing with the restaurants is you got to ask them, what are you looking for? Before you start growing would help. And then grow what they want and have this relationship. Like, how much would you go through in a week? So then you know how much to plant. Now I'm wondering, and I'm saying this because it's a little funny, but maybe it's because I want someone to do it. Maybe you've got this overabundance of squash, winter squash, and you're trying to sell it and you're trying to consume it, you're trying to preserve it. You're like, wow, I just have a lot of extra this year. It's a good year. Perhaps approaching a restaurant and going, hey, I got a trunk full of squash. Would you like to add it to your menu this month? I don't know. Is that crazy? Is that inappropriate? Do you start with an email, a call? Do you directly go there and go, hey, I grow squash. Can we make a deal? Like, what do you do, right? So before I go into the you pick, which I have a book that I'm going to reference for the you pick conversation, let's go back and see the live chat. Robin Garden says to Bowtie, wow, I'd love to weigh my harvests, but no time. I'm lucky to get a huge tomato weighed for fun. I feel that. I feel that. I would have to put a scale at the garden and weigh it immediately and write it and have a board there to write it down on, because hauling it home and keeping some there and this and that, by the time I get home, I'm not weighing anything. No. Mother Earth says I am not keeping any grapes this year. Mother Earth says I made 30 pints of jelly and 3.5 gallons of grape juice last year. I hope there is too. Food Forest Journey. Since you're so adventurous with trying new foods and things. Pest Hunter Outdoors says the only things the chefs get from me is my lettuce. Cash. Raw honey, says DCBs. Robin Garden says, my gardener had a video on a microgreen grower for restaurants, how they do it, gauge the harvest time, like harvest technique too, right? To keep it clean. Yes, we do want to support other channels. Thank you, Jay. Links are welcomed. Mobile Tech, hey, I would be most interested in the staples. The potatoes, onions, leafy greens. That's what you would be going for, okay? Herbs. I think herbs would be a great quick turnaround, says My Food Forest Journey. The reason I think it's a quick turnaround too, so let's think about us in the garden with basil. You plant the seed, you let it grow. You go in there to pick it, you top it off, right? And it keeps growing. So you've touched it twice. It's not like other things where it's like, oh, prune, oh, trellis, oh, I gotta, no. Cilantro, basil, rosemary. We have a short out about the trick to how to always have cilantro. Make sure you check that out. And then, yes, the edible flowers, the edible microgreen flower, right? Jay says, Shawnee grows. We did that with the urban farm. Develop a relationship with 10 to 15 fancy restaurant chefs. You let them know a few days in advance of avalanche of specific food. DCBs might be biased. Dave says, sounds like farming, not gardening. Our conversation tonight is geared towards a more farming mind to grow for profit. Now, there are ways to be a home gardener and make a profit, and we're going to get into that too. And then the other part of it is herbs or take up less square foot, right? Yeah, I don't know. Can you just go directly there and go, look at this beautiful squash? You should, you want to make a deal? And I'm thinking I've got this many pounds and this is the price I would like. Would you like to add it to your menu this month for fall? So there's the microgreen. I was gonna say documentary because if it really details, beginning to end and price and how to package it and everything, how to sell it. Robin Garden says the hard part is, will the harvest be ready when the restaurant needs it? Can't have a gap of supply. The pressure, Robin, of having things. Yes, imagine they have to have a vendor that has multiple suppliers to keep the flow happening. Well, we all know how fun it is to garden with weather. There is stories of farmers like market gardeners where an entire bed gets either destroyed by a pest or a rodent or a critter or a creature or huge hail or wind or flooding. I hear about flooding a lot in high tunnel situations, and it's like, well, just like CSAs, I've already committed to these people. They've already paid me. I have to grow food. I have to get something. And that's a lot. Mother Earth Garden Club, there was a live stream at South Florida Sunshine Tropicals about gut health, and someone in there, we explained this cilantro possibility of what you're saying here with soapy taste, metals in your body. There's a good story in there. If you haven't seen it, listen to it in the replay. Dave Knight says living lettuce in pot was a big seller for a friend at the market. There is the cilantro short. Scott, welcome in to our conversation for what to grow for profit, top money-making crops. Let's go into the you pick part of the conversation. So, experience margin. It's less work for the farmer because there's no harvesting, washing, prepping, packing, selling, right? The consumer is taking all of those steps out of the equation. You can bring people in for the you pick, but then have side sales. So canned goods, crafts. Maybe you guys have some ideas here. What else can we be making money off of while they're there on the farm? So tell me, what do you see for you picks? What you picks have you been to? Strawberries is the you pick that I have experience with. Cherry tomatoes in tunnels was an example given to me. I've never seen one before. Flowers, that is a you pick that I have seen. I've watched how they do their rows for planting and how they do the walkway paths. Zinnias, cosmos, sunflowers. I mean, there's way more than that, but depending on what level the farm is at, it might be stuff like that. You monetized harvest labor plus experience, and then pairing it with on-farm events. I don't know if I talk about it in here, but like bouquet bars, where you've got buckets of different price stems and you go, okay, I have 20 spots. Like you advertise this, or however you advertise things. And you can come for an hour and build a bouquet. And this will be, if you want to build this price bouquet, you get, what is it, 15 stems, we'll say. And then if you want to build this price bouquet, you can pick X amount of stems. So examples of a you pick that I'm going to speak about is coming out of here, and I need to put the link in the description. So Pure Land Farm, they have this book, Pick Your Own Farming. I'm going to talk about it again in the presentation here. They generate $151,000 in just 8 weeks out of the year from her 5-acre U-Pick farm. Get this, outside of Dallas, Texas. So think about the access to people. I think is very important when we look at these numbers because this is not obtainable for my area whatsoever. I don't have the population to support this kind of shopping. Advertising is done with videos on some kind of social media. I'm assuming they have a website. I don't remember. Okay, listen. I haven't read the whole book, okay? I actually have things to say about the quality of the book, and you can contact me privately if you want to hear them because I feel like I shouldn't say them publicly. They charge a membership fee for admission. Like you could pay for your pass to get into the farm. It's kind of like paying for parking, right? And then you pick your foods that you want, and then there's some kind of system on how to pay for it. So she averages $4,700 per day with 240 people, customers, spending roughly $47 each, which I could see myself spending $47 at a U-Pick. I'm going to go over what it is, all while maintaining 65% gross margins. So if you went to a U-Pick farm, would you head for what? What are you going for? I see apple orchards as U-Picks. I see blueberry. I think blueberry farms do U-Pick, don't they? Tell me, what would you drive to a U-Pick for? So the revenue per foot framework, $22.56 for cherry tomatoes. Why she plants everything at once, no succession planning. Her booking system, 80 people an hour, 3-hour windows. So farm is open for 3 hours on this day. We have spots for 80 people to come and pick today. I'm assuming she uses a flag system. Again, didn't read the whole book. Where you mark like this is good to pick today. We know there's something there. It hasn't been out picked, overpicked, picked out. I don't know what the There is supposed to be a link in the description to an interview of this farm. If I didn't put the link in the description to the interview, I will do that after the show because that's how I found out about this. Is someone sent me the interview and then I ordered the book because I was like, no way. You know what I mean? So this season pass strategy is generating upfront cash flow before they even step on the property, right? So what's on the crops list? Let's check it out. So it's called Pick Your Own Farming by Megan Niebuhr. Oh, it says I put the video interview link in the description, but I don't know. So, we're going to talk about the crop and the number of plants. Are you ready? Cherry tomatoes, 65 plants. Again, this is a 5-acre farm. Tomatoes, 306 plants. Flowers, 457 plants. Squash, 549 plants. Peppers, 1,019 pepper plants. Cucumbers, 1,082 cucumber plants. Melons, 2,095 melon plants. Beets, 2,951. Garlic, we all talked about how big bucks garlic is. 3,447 garlic they plant in a year to have at their U-Pick. And then onions, 10,645. And then carrots, over 100,000 carrots are broadcasted. It looks like they have raspberries. It talks about rose. It talks about, I don't know. Like I said, I haven't read the whole book. But that part, I definitely was like, what? Think about all that, you know? So examples of a flower U-Pick farm, you have set hours of on-farm access where people could come and take photos, like actually stand in the fields, and maybe you have an arbor or something and pretty Christmas lights. That's not what I was going for. The like Twinkle Fairy outdoor lights. Maybe you have like a booking link where you can book a private session. Some people grow flowers for weddings or wholesale, and some people grow for, the people that can afford a $10 bouquet, price per stem. You have to know, though, if you're letting people on your farm for the you pick conversation here, there is an insurance policy that you have to have. And in some places, you have to have handicap parking accessibilities and stuff like that. So you got to look into all the things and the rules. You can also purchase by buckets. Maybe there's an event and you want to like have your own private bouquet bar. You can go to the view pick and go, I need 2 buckets of filler and focal. Next, it looks like I have examples for plantings. So let me go into the chat and see where we're at with that and how that feels before I decide if we're going to talk about the planting schedules, not schedules, planting examples, or if we're going to talk about farm stands. Here we go right away. Mobile tech. You need good insurance to allow strangers on your property. Absolutely. That is the biggest cost I hear about. There it is again. Liability is the word, because I saw you type it later. Robin Garden says, OMG, one of our farmers market vendors lost his organic certification, which brings up a point, due to flooding. The pig farm next door had all kinds of stuff end up on his land, plus other non-organic farmland around him. Flowing toward. Is that the end of the... Okay, so this makes me think of things. To be organically certified, it's a process. And is it worth it for you to stamp that it is organic on your product? Now, can you grow organically without the certification, without the stamp, the sticker, the label? Yeah, you just advertise it differently. You don't use the word organic, so you don't get in trouble. But it's a process. And then accidents happen, and location is important, and understanding there's a system in place. I don't have notes, but I've listened to the years it takes to go through that process. I'm trying to think of what the labeling is on how to not be organically certified, but you grow organically. I just don't remember what they would put on their stuff. Maybe somebody in the chat will throw it out there. Mother Earth says, I'm hoping for you pig for those darn grapes this year. My Food Forest Journey says, sometimes your restaurant will work around the scheduling of what's producing at that time. Yeah, it's here's what we have. Do you want any of this? Here's the price. That's what we'll deliver. Thank you, Jay, for the book link. That's the thing I need to put in the chat is the book link. Blueberries are a big U pick in Florida. Yeah, what U picks do you guys see where you are for? I see strawberries and apples. I think those are the only ones I see. My Food Forest Journey, we have strawberries, we have oranges, we have all kinds of citrus down here, along with the blueberries that they do as a U-pick. They do sell some flowers at Mother Earth Garden Club's local farmers market. My Food Forest Journey says there's also a farm local here where you can have orders of what they have ripe, and they also have cow and goat milk. Radio Jonesy says, at work listening. Welcome to the listening of the show. Good to see you. Mobile Tech, if our river overflows onto the organic growing farmland, they cannot grow organically, then yeah, 5 years is the number I've heard. Like to buy land to farm on, to be deemed into the organic stamp, you have to have a 5-year record if you want to start the process like this, like right away. If there is no 5-year record, you start at 0 and you build for 5 years before you can even... Yes, it's very serious. Thank you for testing out the emojis, Radio Jonesy. If you haven't seen, members, there are 2 new emojis for you, and they're supposed to be in there. So if they're not, I'm sorry, but J. Dixon, for produce not certified as organic but grown using organic practices. Here's the terms. You can use naturally grown, farm fresh, grown without synthetic pesticides or herbicides. Yes, using organic practices or transitional organic if actively transitioning to certification. Be more specific by mentioning the absence of certain chemicals, no synthetic fertilizers, or no GMOs. The no GMOs things was big on the CSA website that I was on. Robin Garden says, huge U-pick in Wisconsin, apples and pears, open bed trucks take you up into the orchards. You pay for the size basket you fill. There's other stuff. There's always other stuff, right? What is happening to my computer? I don't know. You guys can hear and see me, right? Things are happening. Mazes, vegetable, canned goods. Yes. Fun day, but you dropped the money. Yes, that's right. There's the new emojis. Radio Jonesy's testing them out. Pest Hunter Outdoors. You can always grow exotic fruits and vegetables and call it Chernobyl Farms. It does look okay. Man, because this monitor might be going out. Okay. I think what I want to do is talk about... Oh, geez. Everything just went black. Why? Why technology? Okay, so farm stand at your property. What do we need to talk about? Does anybody have a farm stand right now? Signage and attraction. We need to get people there, right? Clear, visible signs from the road. Big letters, simple wording like fresh produce, farm stand open today, right? Using chalkboards or whiteboards for daily specials. Consider adding flowers, baskets, or a rustic display to make it welcoming. Again, that whole prettying it up, right? Mobile tech, the internet is far from perfect. Safety and trust. Okay. Placing the stand in a visible, easy to access location, so not deep in your yard. Understand how much traffic is going by. What's the potential? Shade for the produce and the customer. If unattended, if there is no one there keeping an eye on it, which has rules. Like, was it Michigan? There was someone who had a stand, but she wasn't at it. It was unattended, which changed what she was allowed to provide there for selling. And she didn't follow the rules on accident. She misunderstood it, and someone reported her. Somebody called her in, and she got a call from the big people, and they were like, we're closing your stand until you fix this. What? Anyways, if unattended, use the honor system box or a lock box. Now, we've all heard the stories of them getting stolen, with a sign explaining how it works. People need to be able to see it and read it and understand how to use it. So, money access options. We live in a different world now, don't we? So, the cash jar lockbox is what we're used to. Now, there's all these QR codes for Venmo, Cash App, PayPal. And some even have a card reader on stand. Square, PayPal, Pal here. Okay, so we figured that out. Display and presentation. Wooden crates, baskets, or tables lined with cloth. Maybe it's a shed or a shelf or a roofed thing. Keep crops shaded and fresh. Coolers with lids for greens. Mist bottles to keep herbs perky. Rotate produce often so it doesn't look wilted. Bundle herbs, tie carrots, or make meal packs like tomato, basil, garlic pack. We're going to have some examples of packs later on to like get the sale, right? Make it easier for the consumer. I don't want to, do I want to say make them think they're getting a deal? Maybe they are. We're not tricking people. We want them to eat good whole food, right? There was a point I was going to make. Oh, security cameras, right? We hear about those being useful. So, crop ideas for a farm stand. According to this research, the best sellers are tomatoes, cucumbers, zucchini, peppers, fresh herbs, and a salad mix. High turnover seasonally is the sweet corn. We all see the trucks, the berries, and melons. I see melons definitely going on like a roadside truck situation. Niche crops, cut flowers, herbs, garlic, eggs, if regulations allow. We all know there's rules to things, and people will put their nose where they shouldn't. Value added things like jams, pickles, bread, honey, herbal teas, but check cottage food laws, especially on how you're selling it, if it's unattended or not. Okay? Would you stop at a roadside farm stand? What are you looking for? What would you go there for? Maybe you have one that you go to right now. What do you get? The one we go to, we get watermelon, Black Diamond watermelon. I think that's the only thing. Because we go to a different farm for corn. If you had a farm stand, would you trust the honor system? Or would you need it to be attended if it's open? Have eyes on everybody at a time, right? And have you ever thought about setting up a stand? These are all questions I have for everyone. In the replay, I see you. You can participate too. I'll read your comments. Let's see. So we're going to talk about the chat. Doesn't have much. Let's see here. Now Mobile Tech says trail cameras are being stolen too. Mobile Tech says carrots, potatoes, onions, and eggs mostly. Yeah, like the staples you said. Jay Dixon has a sad story. I had a small roadside stand and was walking out, and the mother was coaching to her young child how to steal from it. Yikes. Mobile Tech is sometimes lucky enough to get some fresh steak and burger. I'm trying to think if I've seen the blessing box, maybe. You know, like the free little libraries and the free seed libraries. I feel like sometimes people put out produce for free, excess, blah, blah, blah. Maybe there's a name for it. Okay, Robin Gardens. Problem with you pick. People are very disrespectful. Having apple fights in the picking orchard, kids keep picking beyond what fits in the basket purchased and tossing on the path. Stealing is still a huge thing. In the book, I believe it talks about 6-foot paths for walking. Because I was like, man, that's how do you trust everybody to not step on the plant? Or to harvest correctly. Like, but it's like you got to think of the customer going there. Oh, what are these stars? What is this? I bet you that's how people flag comments. I just figured that out, I think. Where it's like, I want to save that, but maybe someone's talking on panel and you want to come back to it. I bet you that's what that star's for. Mobile Tech, our town has a great food bank and all the farms and ranches donate to it. Oh, yes. There is a thing with the food bank clientele where there might be an educational gap on how to create food and meals with the free produce given to them. And it's just something I've seen. Okay, so planting, examples of planting. And then I do have a weird list of things that are most profitable from an article in 2023 that I haven't talked about here so far. So I'm going to close that though. Examples of planting for a farmer's market or a CSA. So beds 1 through 3 in a tunnel. You can get your early tomatoes in, depending on where you are, March to July. Flip it to baby brassica mix in August through October. And then winter spinach plant in November to February, because that's going to be able to handle being in the tunnel with the row cover. Depending on where you are, okay? These are just fairy tale pretend examples of how you would run 3 beds through the whole year to sell. Okay, let's do some more examples. Beds 4 and 5, again, this is in a tunnel. Cucumbers are from April to July. Flip it to salad mix, August to October, and then overwinter the greens for November to February. Let's get out in the field. Beds 6 and 7. Field carrots for the spring and fall successions. And then, so you'll have your spring carrots, harvest them, plant green beans in the summer, and then harvest them and then plant carrots for the fall. What if we're growing for a chef's choice? Those microgreens, Robin, the 4-bench tray area, weekly standing orders, harvest every 7 to 14 days. You probably start new seeds every 2 days. For the chef conversation again, beds 1 and 2 can be baby carrots, mini beets in tight spacings. top and bunch small. Beds 3 to 4 can be your brassica arugula rotations. Bed 5, your edible flower succession, viola, borage, calendula. Bed 6 and 7, specialty cukes, the mini, the one it says on the screen, bite, beet, alpha, trellised. Beds 8 and 9, those beautiful colored cherry tomatoes, and you can offer all of that to the chef relationship. Also, having things like that you've grown and putting them together to make the thinking easier for the customer. So a house salad mix in a 5-ounce clamshell, a pico pack, tomatillos or tomatoes with jalapenos, cilantro, and a small onion. That's a set for some price. An herb trio, basil, cilantro, dill, rotating the herbs, of course, a chef micro sampler, the pea, radish, sunflower, microgreens. Sometimes I see spicy hot microgreens. Trying to think of all the ways, the cutesy ways they label things. I know definitely one was hot, a hot mix. So it must have been mustard greens for the microgreens. So also, today's topic bonus, members, if you didn't know, there is something waiting for you over in the members only posts. There is exclusive printable PDFs. There's 2 of them. The post shows a preview of the 2 images. There's like an arrow tab and you can look at both of them. But to actually see the full thing, there are 2 links. They're blue hyperlinks. You click them and then you can download and print and save. The one might look like it's cut off at the bottom because it is. And so that's why I made a second one to have information at the bottom of what that other one was supposed to say because I couldn't fix it. So that is just something that is going to be this week for this week's shows. I'm going to have for the members a printable PDF that goes with the show. So you can use it as we talk about the show as a listening, helping thing. You can look at it after the show. Maybe you want to save it in some kind of garden folder journal because it inspired you in some way. It's just something from me to you to thank you. Speaking of members, become a channel member and unlock a special video why I have a channel, as well as build a bouquet with me. There's photos, member garden spotlights we haven't done yet. Just hit the join button or subscribe plus if that sounds like your garden party. Reminder that the next goal for this channel is 1,000 subs and 4,000 watch hours because we are trying to get that full monetization unlocked. We would love to see this by November 1st. Our current totals as of, what is it, the 13th, I think it's loaded up to in the studio thing, is 791 subs and 3,286 watch hours. Okay, we're doing great. We're on track. That's why you're seeing so much of me. Okay. Let's give a huge garden-sized thank you to our current members. Your support helps this garden community grow every day in every way. Members, drop your custom emojis in the chat. Right now, we are celebrating you. I have updated the members list. So let's show it. Robin Gardens, South Florida Sunshine Tropicals, Scott, Driven Fortitude, the LP Dimension, Big Will Dog 82 in the Soil, Mother Earth Garden Club, Richard, Miss Sharon, Sooner JH Travels, John, Radio Jonesy, Diva in the Dirt, Marine, Washington, Gear Grindin 19, Demoose 1829, Teats Treats, Future of Food with Chef Kelly, Grace Martin, Serena Norell, The Groves Bargain Emporium, Steph, GT Jr. Grows in Alaska, Brooke Trout 1, Leslie Spites, Emmanuel, the ultimate gardener, who has a podcast show live tomorrow on Wednesday at 2 p.m. Central Time. I think it's about orchids. Leonard Mountain Homestead, Chris and Amy, Puppy Breath, Sifting Some Soil and More, White Rock Homestead, Homestead Aquarius, Sam Potzik, Destiny Fitzgerald, Minnesota Gardening, Grant McIntosh, MKP, Resourceful Living Homestead, Dare L, Consume the Goodness, My Renaissance Grandma, Marketplace Boutique, Yossi in the Simple Kitchen. There we go. Thank you, thank you. Also, update, the members garden gate is open. So there's a post that talks about welcome to the members garden gate. What it is a Q&A place, kind of like they do on Patreon, where you can go and ask your questions and you can get a response from me, or maybe it turns into a members only live stream conversation or something we put on the regular live streams. I did have my first question. Well, I had two questions actually, and I was in there and we answered them. And so it's a great way to just keep in contact about what's on your mind with gardening, of course. So, coming soon, like Jay announced earlier, we are having shows Wednesday and Thursday this week after 9 p.m. Central Time. Which show is going to be tomorrow? It's one of these: grow more, spend less. So, what can we grow in our gardens so we're not spending so much money at the grocery store? The cost saving crops, okay? Kind of the opposite of what we did today. Fermentation tools for the garden. So, things to apply to the garden, right? Now, before I go back into the chat, I know I've been talking a lot. I am going to read this most profitable crops you can grow any size farm list, okay? So ready? You're going to know this once I say it. Lavender. A fragrant herb is highly sought after for its essential oil. Gourmet mushrooms. Did anybody see these for sale around them? Oyster, shiitake. They're in high demand for the chef folk, right? They can be grown indoors, allowing you to utilize unused space, right? Microgreens, we've talked about. The specialty herbs, mint. I was looking to see if it listed anybody else that was special. That was the only one. Heirloom tomatoes, which we talked about. I had a rant about it. Do they really make you money? They're a lot of work. I think if someone's committing, like the chef conversation, to a specific heirloom variety, they know what they're getting, they know the purpose, they know the flavor, because it's some of them are just so amazing. They'll pay to include all the work it takes, right? Garlic is listed on the extra special most profitable list. Bamboo, this versatile, fast growing plant, is used for various purposes, including construction, furniture, and crafts. Bamboo can be harvested within a few years of planting, making it potentially lucrative crop for small farms. Not in Minnesota, it's not. Goji berries is on the list because of the health conscious. People use it for all the reasons that you can look up on your own. Hops, an essential ingredient in beer production. High demand along craft breweries. Maybe you want to have a hops farm. And then flowers. Bonsai plants. Just having, robin. I don't know where I was, where I commented this to you, because I think it was a comment. Maybe you see as a gardener that there's a gap. There's something missing. Maybe it's nobody sells fall starts, seedlings to transplant near you when there's perfectly enough time to have another crop, right? Maybe you want to be that person. Maybe you want to start enough plants to sell a few. Maybe you ask gardeners ahead of time, hey, I'm thinking of growing some extra, you name it, for the fall garden. Would would you want any? How many could I sign you up for? Excuse me. You could even have them prepay if you wanted. Oops, sorry. I almost spelled it. So, now I'll go back into the chat. Jay has spoken on the channel, I think here, and many places. The abundance definitely does get donated to local food bank. Howie from Food Forest Permaculture donates to a local food bank. Oh, I have to say hi, Miss Sharon, if you're lurking. Hey. Or if you're in the replay, hi, Miss Sharon. This is a great reminder. Thank you, Jay. To help support the channel, of course, the thumbs up tells the algorithm, hey, this is cool content. Sharing it with your gardening friends, helps get more eyes over here. And commenting when you comment on a video or a live after it's been posted, having that interaction back and forth also helps YouTube push it out to more people. Of course, we have a catalog of past videos and live streams, and using any affiliate links will help support the channel. GT Jr., hello! Been in the bushes listening, and I appreciate the food for thought. Oh, great! Maybe you have some business ideas blossoming over there, GT. Becoming a member, of course, helps out the channel. Radio Jonesy is at 3,100 watch hours. We are in a friendly competition. The race is on to 4,000. Help support him, help support me, help support Bowtie. He's also on the path. There is some emojis. Thank you. Mobile Tech, that is very true. There is the Ultimate Gardener YouTube channel. The live stream show for Wednesday has been created. You can hit the notify me to get extra notifications to be in there. I'll be there. I hope to see you there, Hugo Homestead. We're at an hour and 15. Oh, okay. I thought I'd be longer. I've gone through all the material, I think. There is the show. Yes, Growing Orchids. And we will be here together again Wednesday and Thursday this week after 9 p.m. Central Time. We're having gardens. And they don't have hornworms. Yes, thank you, My Food Forest Journey. Got to get there before the year so we don't lose a bunch of hours, because after 365 days, you start to lose whatever's back cataloged from that day on. Oh, My Food Forest Journey has fantastic feedback. I'm really liking your channel, and I think I'm going to join. That's exciting. Yes, I remember meeting you on Emmanuel's live stream. Yes. There's Miss Sharon. The appointment is tomorrow. And yes, of course, she's listening. Okay. Good to know. My screen's wigging out again. We are glad you are listening. Let me see if I have any more things to talk about. Nope. Oh, the poll. Let's do that. What did I ask you? Which market would you grow for profit in? We're going to be fairy tale pretending land, okay? Not like actually having to do all the work and all the planning and all that stuff. Just if you had to choose, tell me. We have the options of farmers market, the CSA weekly boxes for members, directly selling wholesale to restaurants and chefs, or operating a U-Pig farm. I'm going to close the poll and put it in the chat and put it on the board, on the screen for those in the replay. Tell me your vote in the replay. You count. You can play the poll. Copy. Here it is. Okay, which market would you grow for? The top answer was the farmer's market, which is shocking to me because I hate the thought of growing for a farmer's market because it's so people-y. Ugh, 34%. A U-Pig farm was right there next. Wow. This pick your own U-Pig farm for the vegetable crop list that we talked about, that is still blowing my mind, and I've heard about this, what was it, a couple months ago now? Diva in the Dirt sent me the information. The restaurant chef, 20%, and a CSA, that commitment of I have to have something out, at 15%. My Food Forest Journey says I never would have thought about bamboo as being a crop. I'm growing bamboo. That is something to think about. Let's see. What did I hear? Why do other people use bamboo? Is it a chop and drop maybe? Or maybe they were building it for fencing or trellising. I can't remember. There was somebody in Alabama, right? I think that's where they live. It was David the Good. um, people. I'd have to have a staff. I'd have to have a person run that part of the farming experience, the direct sale, farmer's market, hoopla, because not I. Mobile Tech says the farmer's market is what teenage children of the farmer are for. Jay, I am people. My food forest journey says the bamboo I am growing is clumping bamboo that I purchased from Green Dreams Nursery. So yes, in the description, we have joining the community membership link, growing food in small spaces, vertical vegetable gardening, how to store vegetables to survive the winter, the spring, the hunger gaps, how to store the garlic, the videos that are related to today's conversation, what are actually the most profitable crops, how this farmer makes $4,700 a day, the U-Pick model that's based on that book, and then are tomatoes worth it? Evaluating profitability in high tunnels crop by crop. Now, I haven't listened to the whole show of that one. That was the link that was recommended through the What Are Actually the Most Profitable Crops show. The article that had that list, like mushrooms was on that list, is also in the description. So what I have to add is the book after the show. So closing that. Heading over here. Troy, how's it going? Any updates? It's okay. The replay is free and available forever on Lori. If you don't mind me asking. I know you're not like the person, but you brought it up earlier the other day, so I just want to know, is she back home yet? Pet Center Outdoor says bamboo is also grown for very expensive fly fishing rods. No way. And yet, Mother Earth Garden Club has a great question. Isn't bamboo kind of invasive? Now, I am not a bamboo grower. I'm in Minnesota. But I remember people saying there's different types of bamboo. Ones that clump versus run you need the clumping kind if you don't want it to take over. Okay? So great question. Bamboo market. For futuremarketinsights.com reports bamboo market. Jay says yes to Mother Earth. You must research to grow the non-invasive bamboo. The evil nemesis. Farmers markets are great. Here's my complaint. If I could just complain, because I can find something to complain about with things. It's a hot parking lot with no shade. Always. Why? Why can't it be a nice park with grass and trees? Oi. Robin Gardens. We joked with friends that in retirement we'd have property to have windmills, solar panels, grow hubs, and a U-Pick wildflower patch, both growing under them, helping all were steady income with low commitment. I thought you were going to throw in camping, tent camping sites, stargazing sites, rent a site for a night. I thought you were going to say that. Mother Earth Garden Club, we stored carrots in layers of sand and they lasted almost all winter. Now, question, did you dampen the sand or was it dry? I have to ask. Oh no, Troy, she's going to be in there for a while? They are giving her a private room? That is serious then. Oh man. I wonder if she has an email on her channel. I could email her. Does she even have access to... I know it's a lot of questions, Troy. Does she have access to a device to read an email? I guess is my question. Radio Jonesy says, I'm 63. I avoid people, and here's why is a popular video over on his channel. Check it out. And he actually told a story about the little voice, and it's a really good video. I think you should... that one's better than I avoid people video. Pest Hunter Outdoors bamboo fly rods will be anywhere between $800 to $3,000 a rod depending on who made it and the manufacturer. What? My food forest journey. After talking about U-Pick, learning more about it, I would definitely not choose that one. I would definitely change my answer. The insurance and the thought of people tramping over things is a little scary. Yes. Thank you for the prayers for Lori, Radio Jonesy. I know, right? I think of a restaurant near me that they could really benefit from a nice gourmet salad mix because there's kind of so it's like to sell to a restaurant. I'm gonna say, hey Jay, but like I'm in America and in Minnesota, which rules are different for each county even. So it's like, what license or hoops or certifications do you need to sell lettuce to a restaurant? Now, what I've heard is a wash bay with three sink, what's the word? Compartment, three compartment sink, and the labels have to have what it is, where it's from, and a date on it, like, do I want to get into all that just to provide a restaurant with lettuce? Not at this time. Jay says carrots stored in sand should be layered with moist but not wet sand. Too much moisture leads to rot, while dry sand will cause the carrots to shrivel. The ideal moisture level is slightly damp. I thought it was supposed to be damp. Mother Earth did dry and doesn't remember wetting the sand, and everything worked okay. Food Forest Journey does use bamboo for the chop and drop. All right. You can, okay, Radio Jonesy says bamboo in pots is legal here. So I'm guessing it's illegal. I need to adjust the chair sitting position, which hurts. Illegal to have bamboo in the ground then? Ugh. Over there. Does anybody want to play Make That Thumbnail with me while we're here? I'm out of things to say. All I have left for banners is the outro. We had no certifications or special processing for restaurants. Oh, they process themselves. Fascinating. I also would like how I'm not a salesman, right? Like to pitch the sale. I can't go, "Hey, your lettuce sucks, but you have a great restaurant and I could grow like here's this bag of salad mix. How much do you want to make a deal?" I don't like obviously that's not how you do it. Food Forest Journey tomatoes are always worth it. Oh, are we going to play yes thumbnail? Okay. Yes thumbnail play. Let's see if it reset. Remember I used up all the I think it's been long enough where it's reset now. So we have 2 shows this week still that we need thumbnails for. So we need some prompts. And we did thumbnails yesterday and they were not so great. So if we want to refresh the audience. What we tried doing was the saving, grow your savings. This just does not work. And then this ferment garden guide doesn't work. So that's what we're fixing, if it lets me. I have to get a prompt. Jay has a super sales mode to potential chef. I have some very interesting greens that you would find interesting. Can I give you some samples? There we go. Here's what the prompt reads without me editing it, and I'm going to probably change something in it. So let's see. A photorealistic high-resolution YouTube thumbnail of natural garden ferments. A clean bucket with bubbling liquid sits on a wooden garden table surrounded by fresh banana peels, leafy greens, compost, and a glass jar labeled labs. A spray bottle rests nearby, bright natural sunlight, outdoor garden setting, earthy greens and purple accents, add bold, clear text overlay, garden ferments with subtext, do-it-yourself, fertilizers and sprays. Style, realistic photography, sharp focus, natural colors, professional composition. I don't think I have to take anything out because what I usually have to erase is I don't need a logo thingy in there and I don't want real hands and people and stuff. Yes, I said it. Rent a site for the night. I don't know what Radio Jonesy is yapping, but make sure you're focused on your work. Ooh, it's generating. I must have hit the reset time. Okay, so then I shall have a poll. We gotta have a poll for this. Okay. Thank you all for hanging out. Okay, poll. While you guys look at it, I'm gonna create. So what we do is we give feedback in the chat, but I want you to vote in the poll of which one you would choose. But you can pick it apart in the chat and we can talk about it, okay? So what I gotta look at them now. What are we seeing? The one on the left, garden ferments, do-it-yourself fertilizers and sprays. These look a lot better than those cartoon ones, don't they? This middle one, I love the clear jar, colorful stuff in it. What we need to consider is what does your eye see when you look at it? This is going to be a miniature sized. Obviously, we know what thumbnails look like on our phones. And then the type of text, if you can see it, read it easily. See, now this one has a hand in it. I'm not a big fan of the hand things. But I'm considering what you guys would like, right? Good morning, Anne's Place. Food Forest Journey says I've got to learn how to make bamboo fly rods. Yeah. Oh, well, when we get to that show, you will find out what I mean. But I need to know which thumbnail you like. We're voting on the thumbnail for the show. So I do see a wonderful thing happening over here. Miss Sharon gifted 5 Shawnee Grows memberships. So what that means is, wahoo, we've got a new member sprouting up. We have 5 of them. I have to go over here and figure out who's getting the gift. Ace, Bat13, Shantae G, Jessica Dumpster Girls, Maritza's Yarn and Crafts all have received a membership by Miss Sharon. Woohoo! That means it's story time. We'll do that after we vote, and then we'll take a break for that. So those of you that have received a gift, you'll get an email. It'll tell you that your gift should go for the month, like 30 days, and it's up to you to renew your membership if you do want to. And while you have it, use it, okay? Get in the members only place and watch the things and ask questions and, do stuff in there. Okay, so the poll has been up for 2 minutes. I have 7 votes. Let's see if the chat has anything saying anything. Okay, Robin says left, but in a larger text. Imagine that at iPhone size. All right, thank you for the feedback. We are going to end the poll. The right is the winner of the poll, but that doesn't necessarily mean that that's the thumbnail I'm going to use, but it's great feedback. So since we had the wonderful membership situation, we are going to pause for this story time, which is over here now. Tonight's story is called The Rain That Fell Upward. The storm had been gentle all day, sprinkling the garden with soft showers. But just as dusk settled, Shawnee noticed something strange. Droplets began lifting from the leaves, rising into the air instead of falling down. She blinked, rubbed her eyes, watched as thousands of glittering raindrops drifted skyward, forming a shimmering river above the bean trellis. Drawn by wonder, she reached out. One droplet brushed her fingertips, cool and tingling, before shooting upward to join the stream. The water swirled together, twisting into the shape of an archway made of liquid light. From within came a faint, melodic echo like lullabies sung by the soil itself. At the very top of the watery arch, words appeared, glowing in silver. Step through, and you will see how the garden dreams. The rain held its breath. The whole garden waited. Shawnee stood at the threshold, hand hovering near the glowing current, wondering what dreams the earth might reveal. And that is our story. Okay, let's see here. Radio Jonesy says it is illegal to grow bamboo outside of controlled pots. So it's a fine. You get a fine. Jay says substitute pincher hand. Pincher for pitcher. Is it pitcher or pincher for hand? Thank you. Yes. So things to create to help fertilize the garden, maybe to help a plant or get a bug out of the plant, that kind of thing. I know, Miss Sharon. We talked about this yesterday. I was like, garden ferments sound misleading. Sounds like food from the garden to ferment for eating. So, natural fertilizer recipes, I guess, is what we have to go with. Spray garden fertilizer, do-it-yourself garden sprays. Doesn't have the word ferment in it. So that's what's more clear to everyone. That's why, okay, gotcha. Homegrown fertilizers? Okay, I like that. What did I do for the title for that one? Let's see here. Yeah, I'll have to change the title. Homegrown fertilizers. Let me save that for an idea. Okay. Everyone's agreeing. Waving to all from Miss Sharon, struggling to see. Okay, we have one more show for the thumbnail that we had to fix. Let's see here. I'm not sure if I had the prompt. I think it's this one. Okay, yeah. But I think I saved a edited version. This one. I'll read it and then we'll run it. And then it's going to be soup time after this show. Okay. YouTube thumbnail with bold, high contrast design on the left side, a grocery cart overflowing with overpriced vegetables and a large red price tag dollar signs. On the right side, a lush raised garden bed with tomatoes, peppers, leafy greens, and herbs glowing with freshness. Big bold text across the center, grow your savings. Use bright greens and reds for produce, earthy background. That's the one we're going to do. Oh, my food forest journey. I voted for the one on the right, but I'm changing my mind to the one on the left. Jay Dixon says, in summary, while not illegal everywhere, it's vital to be mindful of bamboo's invasive potential and adhere to local regulations when growing it. Robin Garden says to Miss Sharon, here's hoping they can get that cleared up pronto. My GF girlfriend had cataract surgery and does not need glasses anymore. What? I mean, like, she just had cataract. It wasn't cataract and LASIK, if that's even, I don't know anything about it. Okay, I'm gonna hit create. And so I need to share and I need a new poll. Wow, typing is not easy tonight. Okay. Left, middle, right. Okay, poll should be loaded. Miss Sharon's like, that would be awesome. I take it you wear glasses. Radio Jonesy says you're looking great, Miss Sharon. Oh, Jay, new poll? Oh, sorry. Okay, let me look at these. Grow your savings. Grow your savings. I don't know. Why do they all look the same? Do we need a new prompt? Okay, so before it was this. And so now we've created these. Is anybody liking what we see here? I know like the difference I'm seeing is the font text visibility situation. So which one can you read when it's teeny tiny, I guess is our question. Jay says there are slight different garden beds. Yeah, I see the side hinge is different in the color and the style. Yep. Robin Garden says this is hard because middle font is clearer. So middle font is clearer, but left is larger and a better size. Yeah, the middle has that big, thick, black, whatever the word is for when it's behind it. There's, when you're editing text, I can't remember what it's called. Whether Earth Garden Club says cataract surgery can correct for near or far-sightedness. Wow. Let's see. Let me look at the poll. This one's a tough one. Crops to grow. Let's see. Left, middle, right. Okay, left is winning. We've got 7 votes. It's been up for 1 minute. Oh, great question. My food forest journey. Do you write these stories? This is a sweet little story. I like it. Nope. I don't write the stories. So I have shared how I prepare for my live streams on a past live. And I walked people through the systems and services and tools that I use that are all free. And story for new members, we've created 10. I've read 10 stories since we started having memberships. And I don't write them. I am not a writer. I just like to read. But I used a special tool called ChatGPT, my food forest journey. I just have a free account, so it gets to know me, right? Like it knows that we're doing this for my YouTube channel and what my preferences are, and that's how I create titles and descriptions and questions. And I definitely am doing an AI assistant. I am not writing this. I like having the stories attached to when we get memberships. I just think that's fun. Okay, 3 minutes, 9 votes, closing the poll. The left, let's see what the left is, was the winner. Where's the stop for that one for you guys? All right. Let's see. Mother Earth Garden Club says, usually us seniors have a combo of near and farsightedness, unfortunately. That's what I get to look forward to, huh? Weehaw. What I'm doing now is resizing thumbnails. Oops. To use for the show. shows. We're going to end it here soon. I have a closing statement for everyone. Jay is telling my food forest journey. All of the stories are that type of style. Robin Garden says Canva calls it outline under effects. Oh, in text, that's the where it's backed with the black. It's the outline. Thank you. You know what I was talking about. Trifocals right here, says Robin Gardens. Whoop. Getting old isn't for wimps, says Mother Earth Garden Club. Oh, Anne. Okay, let's talk about Turbo, shall we? Let me close this stuff. So, Turbo is, I think, 3 months, male kitten that we've rescued from a wall in a feed mill, and we were doing a mix of indoor outdoor when he was little, when he was big enough little, like when he was done bottle feeding, and then it turned into he's just going to be outside most of the time with a protective home. And then we started having crazy weather, and then he started sleeping inside. And now our entire house is under construction outside, so now he's inside even more. And I got him a harness today to walk him because he's starting to go out to the garden property with me. And we called the vet because he's a male cat, and I want that taken care of. If you've ever lived with a male cat, there's a whole bunch of level of things that are annoying. And the vet was like, distemper, rabies, visit. I feel like there was like some leukemia shot and a neutering. They wanted $500. And I was like, like I know what a dog costs at the vet. It's also a lot for depending on what the health issue is with the dog or whatever. But then Turbo had 2 other siblings in the hole in the wall that another person took, and they were like, well, oh, also the vet said he has to be 6 months old. And we think he's 3. And he's very hungry. We feed him when he's hungry, but man, he's growing. We do wet cat food for him. So then we found out that his sibling was neutered at the Humane Society. So shots, neuter, and a chip for $25 every Wednesday. And I was like, explain to me why they can get away with that. Trap, neuter, release, TNR. Is there like money that they get from somewhere that can pay for the difference? Because what's the difference? I'm going through pre-surgery, surgery, post-surgery. Are the procedures the same? Why is it such a huge $500, $25? Okay. So, and they said they do it at 3 months. I mean, I don't know. We haven't called someone, but this guy took his in and got it done, and he's the same age as my kitty, so I don't know. He loves to catch and bite things. We really realized we don't need to buy cat toys. There's so much stuff we have that he's enjoying chasing after. The kids pick him up so much, and he's been great. Nobody's been hurt. It's like some scratches, of course. But I'm reminding them, like, when you hear this sound a pet makes, whether it's cat or dog in the house, let them go and get away from them, please. If they're running and hiding under something, leave them there. Don't drag them out. Like, we're having that issue with, can we stop loving so much? But it's my turn with Turbo. And I'm like, well, he lives here 24 hours a day. There's plenty of times of turns we could get through. Okay? Jay says, I have to take off my glasses and stare myopically at this screen. We have 10 minutes now till 2 hours. I didn't think we'd make it 2 hours. You guys always shock me. Anne says, I keep wanting to ask but forget, so I ask now before it slips my mind again. So in the past, he's been like crazy circusing in the show. It's quiet right now. We fed him before the show started. And I was concerned about how much he was eating and sleeping, and you know how you look it up on the internet and it's like, well, yeah, it's like a baby stage. They are growing. They could sleep up to 20 hours a day. And I was like, oh, must be nice. It's been fun. It's different. My food forest journey. I am so glad I'm not the only gardener that likes to stay up late. Yeah, we had the late night garden conversation over here. That's the only time I can do this lovely hobby that I have of mine, because during the day I am a mom to 3 that I homeschool, and I garden at a property where I don't live. Then at night I have a job where I work from home remotely to do before I go live on YouTube to have fun. It's what? I know. And I know. And Anne, did you talk to the neighbor about the chickens coming through your bedroom window? Please tell. My food forest journey, like the one on the left again, this is kind of like an eye test. Jay Dixon says freebie vets for Humane Society for charitable purpose. Anne's place, yes, I did all mine at the municipality vets too. Our government subsidized it. Outline. They use volunteers at the Humane Society. You've not tried ChatGPT. Well, I'm not pressuring you to. You don't have to. It's just the tool I use. And if you want to see how I use it, check out the live stream. What live stream is it? I don't know. Let me see. How I prepare for a live stream. That is where I showed what I say into ChatGPT and where I take it to other places to build what we did here today together, if you're wondering. And place, did you give him a deworm pill? So what I gave him is deworm liquid. It's in the other room. I had 2 doses given to him based on his body weight. I gave the correct milliliter in a syringe in his mouth. I'll have to read it again to see if he's due for another one. Like, he's gaining weight and growing. If he was awake, I'm assuming he's sleeping, I'd show him to you. Yeah, it was a liquid. He said 2 doses. Okay. Mother Earth Garden Club says it's cheaper at Minnesota Snap also. Anne's Place says he comes here weekends only. Really? What? And then, yeah, hello. Anne's Place says, in the meantime, I think the poor things have no food. Or not enough. Well, that is just, we need to call somebody. Robin Garden says, my food forest journey, Diva in the Dirt, Carol from South Florida Sunshine Tropicals, and Shawnee from Shawnee Grows showed me ChatGPT 2 weeks ago. What a time saver. Get an outline for YouTube descriptions in seconds. Then you can easily tweak them from there. Yeah, I'm not a writer. Anne's Place says after 7 days with the pills usually, and then 4 months later. Yeah, this was I'll have to look at the liquid. Maybe he's due for more. Because yeah, he was outside, and he comes outside and goes for a walk with me to take the garbage out and then back in, because like I said, there's a bunch of construction going on. Okay, what do we got going on here? Food Forest Journey says to Robin, because Connie, am I allowed to call you Connie? My Food Forest Journey, I'm pretty sure that's your name. I'm gonna have to check it out. Radio Jonesy says, Hi, I'm now in the car. It is coming up to 2 p.m. and I am driving home using voice to text. What was for lunch today? Do you want to tell me? Radio Jonesy? Wait a minute. You were at work during the day. You're done with the night shift? Thank you, Jay, for the link to the one I was talking about. If you feel like it. Okay, 6 minutes. Do we keep talking or do we close it? Anybody have any? Oh, I'm not on live chat. I was supposed to edit the popcorn update video. For those of you who've been following, the garden has been hit by a bunch of wind storms every direction, and then I found out somewhat north of me, they got 1 foot of rain this weekend when I was talking about like 5 inches for me. 1 foot of rain happened just down the road, pretty much, it feels like. It's just like, what? What was I saying? Oh yeah, I was supposed to do the edit on the popcorn video, but I didn't. I didn't. We had this wonderful live stream though. That's helps, right? Robin is offering to my food forest journey. Message me if you need help. Jay nods. GT Junior Grows in Alaska says, keep talking. My food forest journey. I've learned a ton in the last 2 hours. 6 more minutes to 2 hours, says Jay. And Anne. Oh, you had a few drops of rain. That's it? Oh, boy. You guys have been in the heat. Oh, that's the other thing that's weird. My phone's charging right now, so I can't pull it up. But we talked about it yesterday, and Robin was like, wait, what? Because she's in the Midwest, too. It's going to be a high of 66 Saturday, Sunday for me. And I'm going to have lows that are supposed to hit 47. So I'm pretty sure we concluded yesterday, like, I should pick all my peppers and bring them in. Correct, everyone? Anyone? Help me? Because I can't cover them. I can't provide protection for the patch of peppers. And that makes me panic a little deeply inside and then go, okay, so for the next 2 days, I should write out a business plan on what are we doing? Also, the goal after this was to make cheesy potatoes and ham and chocolate chip muffins and have soup. And I think we're still going to do that plan. I've already pre-staged everything. Recipes are posted on the wall. Pans are prepped. Ingredients are in the fridge. And then there's one that's in the can. And then I had the butter, and I think we're going to do that. He is an inside and outside cat. He does both. He was sleeping outside, and then we felt bad because it was so crazy, the weather. And then now there's giant holes in the yard, so he sleeps in the house and goes outside during the day. Anne's Place says, pickle your peppers for the Pied Piper. So I used to pickle peppers, and then like nobody would use them. You slowly learn when you can and preserve what actually is useful in your household. Like I think it was Robin, we were talking about how much jam does one household need? Well, if you have 10 kids and you're allergic to dairy and you can't have butter, then you probably used jam, thousands of jars of jam. Jay says pick pummeled peppers, pursue pickling? Yeah, pickling. Oh no, my battery's dying on the phone. You must plug her in, my food forest journey. Robin says, no, don't pick the peppers yet. I don't think it will stay low too long at night yet. Check hourly. Okay, I love the hourly breakdown, man. That really helps. And then is it 2 days in a row? And then we're going to be 90? Like, that's what I need to look at. Here, Jay has a link. The storm damage in the garden. Things that happened recently. Yes. You should be subscribed if you're chatting. Maybe you're talking about the membership. Jay, Jamaican accent. We be jamming. I don't do accents, so I'm sorry. No offense, anybody. We have 2 minutes, 1 minute, something like that. Let's see. Yeah, there's Jay. You can do it. Today's Tuesday? Yeah. So we picked a bunch of cucumbers and tomatoes that were bushing. The kids have been helping with that today. And then tomorrow they said they want to go back and look for more tomatoes because there was still some there when we had to leave. And I said, okay. You have a lot on your plate, old to be young again. Oh, Radio Jonesy, I can't get enough of Shawnee Grace. He's using voice to text. Go for another 2 hours. I just told you. I have to make cheesy potatoes and ham and a pan of muffins, chocolate chip to be exact, and I want to eat soup. So, unless you're in the kitchen with me, which isn't happening. Jay says, I'm too exhausted after gardening to process anything. I am the same way. I don't want to do it all in this. Nope. Mm-mm. So, like this whole pepper thing, it's like, well, chop them up and freeze them, eat them. I don't know if I'm making a fermented sauce or pickling any. Like, I guess I'll have to take a vote. Because, like I said, I think I still have pickled peppers from last year in the cupboard that nobody used. Anne says, I would have given the poor animals some of my chicken's food, but I learned if you do that here, then people take advantage of you and stop giving their animals any food. Well, and then the animal thinks that you're the food person, right? You train them to go to you instead of their owner. I will definitely go and check out that live stream. All right. Okay. So, thanks for spending part of your day with me. Profit starts with choosing the right crops for the right customers. Subscribe for a future show about companion planting for bigger harvests. We are going to break down what can you companion plant in containers as well. Pick your customer first and then match fast turns, high value, season extension, and you will grow every day in every way. YouTube thinks this video on the screen is for you next here, so let's see if it's right, and I will see you in the comments over there.